back. Well, today I am joined by Supervisor Lisa Bartlett, who is here to talk to us, thank goodness, about vaccines and where we'll be able to get them. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. And thank you for all your hard work to get this going.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you today and to give some great updates relative to our vaccination process at the county.
That is really good news. And I know so many people are so anxious. I mean, as we were talking off camera, we have well over 9,000 people who are over the age of 75, and they're quite anxious and really would like to get the vaccine as soon as possible. So we understand that there's a variety of different places where we can go to get our vaccination, but they're not all quite open. So tell me what a super pod is and which ones are going to be open.
Okay, so just a little background information. We've got over 3 million residents in the County of Orange, and it is our goal to have every eligible resident of the county be able to get vaccinated before July 4th. So that's our Operation Independence program that we have in place. And it's a phased program, so people are in various tiers of getting vaccinated. And a SuperPod site, so SuperPod stands for Super Points of Dispensing. And our first SuperPod site is at Disneyland. And that opened about a week ago, and we started vaccinating over 3,000 people a day. We were vaccinating up to 5,000 people a day just a few days ago. In fact, we were ahead of schedule at the site, so we were able to open up more appointments. So our goal, ultimately, when we have expanded hours at the Disney SuperPod site, is to be able to vaccinate between 7,000 and 8,000 people per day. And that's our goal.
Great. And I actually heard some good things about the Disneyland process. I hear that things went very smoothly. They administered everything quite well. Tell me a little bit about the process and what people can expect.
Okay, so for the Disney Pod site, you go on to Athenacom and you get an appointment. And we don't schedule more than about 3 days out because we only know our vaccine doses a few days out. And we've got to match up the total number of vaccine doses to scheduled appointments. So once you get your scheduled appointment, you simply show up at the Disney Pod site and don't arrive more than about 15 minutes to 30 minutes max before the appointment is scheduled. But we get everyone through very efficiently, and most people get through from start to finish within 45 minutes.
Oh, and it's in your car type of thing, right?
Well, no, you get out of your car.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, you park, and then you go through the ropes that kind of guide you in through the whole registration process, the vaccination process, and then the exit portion when you're finished with your vaccination. So It's a very organized, efficient process, and we've interviewed a number of folks that have gone through the process from start to finish, and they are extremely pleased. The challenge right now is getting that scheduled appointment.
Well, right. Like you mentioned before, many people are trying to get it all at once. And, let's talk about the site, Athenacom, because we've been promoting it. Many people have been promoting it. Obviously, the health department has been promoting it. And that's a lot of people at one time trying to go after, an appointment. So tell me a little bit about the company and what they're doing.
Okay, so the company that is creating Athenacom has software engineers right now that are literally working 24/7. We're a pilot program for this software scheduling mechanism. And right now, I know it's not perfect, but it is the best way to try to schedule over 3 million people for appointments. We've got to have reporting back to the state, and there's auditing, and we've got to be able to let the state know about allergic reactions and other things. And having all of the data in one repository makes it a lot more efficient, and we're going to be able to get greater throughput, meaning more people scheduled for appointments and getting them vaccinated that much faster. But the software does have a couple glitches. The software engineers are literally working around the clock to fix those glitches. And originally they thought there might be a chat feature, but then you've got to be able to utilize the technology. So instead of the chat feature, we all agreed it's much better to have a hotline where people can pick up the phone and call and say, I'm having some trouble getting registered. Can you help me? Or I've got questions. So a hotline should be up and operational very, very soon for all of our residents to utilize.
That's great, because I know that I'm not so much inside the village, but I've talked to other folks who have parents who have been trying to log onto that site and they're having difficulty. So that's excellent to be able to provide them a resource for sure. Now, we understand it's 65 and over. Is that pretty much where we're at still?
Yes. So critical healthcare workers, public safety, and individuals that are 65 years and above are eligible right now in the current phase to be vaccinated.
Okay. Now, I know that so many people are so anxious that they just want to go there. They just want to go to the site and get an appointment and do it that way. But that's not advisable.
Well, if you don't have an appointment and you go to one of the sites, they will not vaccinate you because, again, we only have enough vaccine doses for scheduled appointments at any given location.
Yeah. And you had mentioned that it's been a little difficult to try and get some of those vaccines. I mean, we're not the only people trying to get them. Everybody is. What do you think is going to happen over the course of the next few weeks? Are we going to get more?
We are definitely going to get more relative to the state and then at the federal level where the vaccines are getting dispensed. If a county can show that they are getting more shots in arms, meaning they're getting more people vaccinated on a very routine basis, and you can prove that to the state and at the federal level, a county can get more vaccines. So we are getting more vaccines coming to us in Orange County because we've been able to show our numbers. We have great throughput, great efficiency in getting shots in arms is what they call it. Mm-hmm. And so we are getting more vaccines, and therefore we're able to open up more scheduled appointments.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about the other pods that are going to be opening up. You mentioned this weekend is Soca University?
Yes. So this Saturday, we will have a press conference about 1:00 at Soca University. And this is going to be great for our seniors because it'll give them a local location for getting vaccinated. So we hope to vaccinate a number of our seniors. Really, the emphasis of this location in South County will be age 65 and plus. So this will be another great option for our seniors in addition to the Disney pod. So the more pod sites that we open up, the more throughput, the more vaccinations we can give countywide. But for our seniors, particularly those in my district here in South County, we want to have easy access. And by having local pod sites, and I'm looking at other pod sites in South County to open up specific to our seniors right now so that we can vaccinate that population as quickly as possible.
That's really good news. Now you said there's a press conference at 1:00 at Soca University. Is that when they're going to start distributing?
I don't know if we'll start distributing right then, but it'll be shortly thereafter. We've got all the logistics in place right now, and we're really excited about vaccinating our seniors 65 and plus at that location.
Now, when they go on to the Athena.com and they are trying to register for their appointment, is Soca University and Disneyland selections for them? They can choose, or how does that work?
That is something we're working on right now that we're going to have a second pod site. So I believe what's going to happen is you will have multiple locations for scheduling with the availability, but if that location is grayed out when you go to register, that means there aren't any more appointments that can be scheduled. Okay. So it may revert back to a different site depending on the doses of vaccine that are available at a particular location on a particular day.
How often do you recommend someone log into that website to try and get a registration?
Well, they should definitely log in and get themselves registered. Now, getting registered is different from scheduling the actual appointment. And I know right now people have been going on literally 5-10 times a day to try to get that scheduled appointment. So again, to ease up this, once you get registered, we're going to be able to respond with an email back to the individual, letting them know that they can go ahead and get a scheduled appointment on a particular day at a particular time. So rather than the person having to log on and check for scheduled appointments that are available constantly, they can just register and then they'll get an email back to them letting them know that they're eligible for a scheduled appointment and to go on and be able to get that actual appointment with a location and a day and time.
Can anybody register, or is it still just restricted to 65 and over?
Anybody can register, but right now, in order to ease up on the system, we've had over 1 million hits on the system recently. And those that are not eligible to be vaccinated right now, so if they're not a healthcare worker, if they're not public safety, and they're not 65 plus in age, we recommend that they don't go on at this point to actually register, because they're not going to get an appointment, because the registration will only give them appointments if they are in the phasing class that's approved for vaccinations. So right now, let's open it up to those that can be eligible for vaccination. Let's get all of those individuals vaccinated, and then let's move on to the next phase of class of individuals for getting vaccinated.
Okay. And for those who do not have internet access, what do they do?
That is the challenge. We recommend that they, contact their cities, and sometimes the cities are able to help the seniors in logging on to some of the city computers to see if they can get an appointment and get vaccinated. A lot of folks are going to their relatives. They're having their granddaughters or niece or nephew or son help them through the registration process. So I know that, I helped my dad through that process. People have been asking about, once they get vaccinated, they get their first dose, what happens to get their second dose? So when you get vaccinated, you will receive a card, and on the card will be the actual lot number of the vaccine that you received, whether it's Pfizer or Moderna, and it will also have your second dose date. So it's really important for people to calendar that second dose date, because if you don't get your second dose within a given period of time, you literally have to start the process over again. So it's really important to get the first dose, but to get the second dose within that specified time frame. And we have a system now where people are going to receive an email, a confirmation essentially of getting that second dose. But if they can calendar it on their own, and they need to have the same type of vaccine from the same manufacturer that they had for the first dose. So if you had Pfizer for the first dose, you'll get Pfizer for the second dose. And if you had Moderna for the first dose, you'll get Moderna for the second dose.
Perfect. Okay, well that's good news, because obviously you want to be able to help someone who doesn't have email access. But hopefully, over the course of the next couple of weeks, because this is going to be an ongoing thing, it's not going to happen just in one weekend. Maybe they'll have some sort of a phone type access. Like you said, you're going to have maybe a hotline, which will be great, and that'll help guide them even better. Is the county still offering testing? I mean, we're still offering testing, right?
Absolutely. It is critical to continue with the testing, because the testing gives us an indication as to the positivity rates of COVID-19. We want to find out how many individuals per 100,000 are testing positive for COVID, and making sure that they quarantine. Because once we continue with the testing process and we get results, we're going to know if we have more individuals that are still getting COVID or if it's starting to level off. So it's really important to get that feedback into the medical community so they know what's going on here. So the testing is still a very critical component, and we have a multitude of testing locations throughout the county, some through the County of Orange and some through private sector companies as well.
Well, and I know that the Orange County Health Department, they had a saliva testing that they were doing. Do you know anything about that and how those numbers are going?
Well, the saliva testing through the county is a home test kit. And if anyone wants one of these, we will get a home test kit out to you. And basically, it's a saliva test. You swab, you put it in the envelope, and then you mail it off and you get the results. So you really don't even have to leave your own home in order to get that testing done.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's great. Anything else on the testing and vaccines you'd like to let us know about?
Let's see. So to date, over 256,000 people have been registered through Athena. With an average of 12,000 registrations per hour. So you can see how this is a really robust site where we're trying to get a lot of throughput for registrations and scheduled appointments and get as many people vaccinated as quickly as possible. So I want to let everyone know that we have a COVID testing kiosk right at Laguna Woods City Hall. So if you feel the symptoms of COVID-19, stop in at Laguna Woods City Hall and you can get tested right there. The kiosk is set up in the parking lot at Laguna Woods City Hall, and it's open Wednesdays and Saturdays from 9 to 3. So if any resident of Laguna Woods is feeling any of the symptoms of COVID-19 and you want to get tested close to where you live, I recommend going in to the testing kiosk right there at Laguna Woods City Hall.
That's great. I didn't even know about that. That's perfect. Well, thank you for that information. All really good. Thanks for all the hard work you're doing on that. I mean, we just, want to stop seeing these numbers increase. So we're certainly hoping we can get all this out as soon as possible. So thanks for all your help on getting help for our seniors. Now, one other thing that is really awesome to hear about is the Be Well OC Center is open. But before you tell me about the opening, tell me what it is.
So the Be Well OC is a campus. It's a public-private partnership, 60,000 square feet, 96 beds, and it's a state-of-the-art mental and behavioral health facility that is open to everyone in the public. So it doesn't matter whether you've got no health insurance or you've got the best PPO health insurance. Every person in the county, as a county resident, will be eligible if they need to go into this facility. And it's a complete wellness campus. So it includes everything from crisis stabilization, which is 23 hours or less, addiction treatment, substance abuse treatment, crisis residential, which could be 30 to 60 to 90 days. And then it also includes a warm handoff, meaning we don't just open the door when you're finished treatment and let you go. We connect you to ongoing services. So we make sure that once you go through the wellness clinic and you are released, that you've got a program in place to continue with those services that you received while you were at the clinic. So really important, because the mental health and behavioral health conditions around the county have been growing for a variety of reasons, whether it's homelessness or the recession or COVID-19. There are a lot of stress factors right now for our residents, as well as day-to-day life, which is stressful enough. So when someone is having a crisis, we want to make sure they get connected to the right location for services. And right now, a lot of people go to the ERs, and it's not the proper place for mental and behavioral health services. So by having this campus open, it's on Anita Street in Orange, and it is an amazing facility. 96 beds, as I indicated, and it's a great facility for the public when you talk about really treating and getting to the root cause of the mental and behavioral health and putting in a long-term care plan for those individuals that come to the site. I hope that this is the first of multiple campuses. This creation of the campus started from the mental health ad hoc that I started 5 years ago with one of my colleagues on the board of supervisors. And this was the outcome of our mental health ad hoc. A lot of people will ask us why the need for the Be Well OC mental health campus. And in just the last 3 years alone, mental illness has increased in our county by almost 10%. So there's a definite need for this kind of facility to treat the residents of the county. And so with this first campus site, we hope to have 2 to 3 or maybe 4 others throughout the county. This is going to be a huge benefit to all of our county residents relative to mental and behavioral health. So I'm really excited about this first campus opening, and hopefully it will be the one of several campuses.
And we had talked to some doctors that were with Kaiser Permanente of Orange County who had been discussing this, and certainly wanted to make sure that the mental health component, that was their primary concern. So it sounds like, like you said, you got it off the ground and you guys are working, you're open and you're ready to receive people. Now, one thing you mentioned was you don't have to have insurance, or if you have insurance. So how does it work? Do you just walk in the front door, or what is it? How does that work?
If possible, you need to have an appointment. Obviously, if it's an emergency, you come through the emergency side of the facility. But we will have appointments available, so family members can bring in their neighbors, they can bring in their other family members to the facility for treatment. But getting a scheduled appointment is preferable.
Oh, okay. Okay. And where do they go to for that type of making appointment and information?
They just need to call the facility.
Oh, okay, great. All right, well, perfect. Well, thank you. I really appreciate all the information. I know that you're going to be working diligently and getting more and more vaccines to our county, and that is just awesome to hear. So thank you.
You're very welcome. And if anyone has any questions at any time, they're always welcome to contact me or my staff at our board office, and we'll be happy to answer questions or get them connected to someone who can answer their questions.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we'll be right back after this.